Brothers and sisters, the chaos of this world shouldn't keep us stuck. It is our duty, it is our destiny to awaken, to find the true self that lies dormant within each and every one of us. So if you're struggling with anxiety or any other negative emotional mood swings, I hope this video can help you out, can help remind you that there's something more that you need to understand concerning your current existence than might have ever been told to you by your parents or society at large. It's a beautiful message and I hope you take it to heart. So let's get right into it. My brothers and sisters, today I wanted to talk about something very important. Excuse the fan noise, hold on. Sometimes that happens, right? You're making a video, you're like, oh wait, maybe that's making even additional more noise in the background. It is very warm right now. If you understand Celsius, it's like 35 Celsius. It's gonna go up to 40 almost tomorrow. So, regardless, I still have to share this message with you. As the title says, you're being pulled away from your true self. Pulling away, being pulled away from your true self is a very interesting concept, because ultimately, have you ever asked yourself the question, why am I here? What is it all about? Why do I even exist? Who am I? What am I? Well, you might first say, I'm this body, right? You would always point at the body. This is me. You would say, this is me. This is Renil. This thing that you're seeing right now. This is just a vessel, I would call it. The reason why I call it a vessel is a few days ago, and this happens to me all the time. The universe has a way of revealing things to me personally that I know will happen to you over time as well. Where you realize your consciousness exists independent of your body. Now let that sink in for a second. If your consciousness exists independent of your own physical body, that basically means that you're immortal, or at least that there is no end to who you are, to what you are. Now, isn't that a fascinating concept, and so hard it is to grasp? Why is it so hard? Well, that's what the title of the video is about. We're being pulled away from our true selves. How? How are we being pulled away? Well, you gotta go to your job, you gotta do stuff at your work, you gotta go to college, you gotta get that good degree when you're a child. Very quickly they throw you in the school system. You gotta go there. You gotta be indoctrinated in the ways of society so you fit in. You have appointments you have to keep. You want to hang out with friends or family, you gotta be there, right? There's all sorts of stuff that is pulling us away from our true selves. And when we're talking about the true self, when we're talking about it, I'm talking about the self that you are, that you will experience once you leave your physical body behind. Now that sounds kind of morbid, doesn't it? Once you leave your physical body behind? Well, I hope it doesn't happen right now for you or tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be here for a while and enjoy it. That's the most important part, that you enjoy the journey. But with all this chaos in the world going on, it can be so hard to lose sight of what's very important, what is most important. What is most important in your life, in mine, in everybody's life right now, is the unfoldment of consciousness, is becoming aware of the deeper and deeper inner nature of who they are, of their soul essence, you could say. Now with all the chaos, as I said, you turn on the news, you see all sorts of stuff going on, highly negative, highly disturbing. Is it any wonder that so many people suffer from anxiety, depression, frustration, fears? I mean, I talk to these people all the time, where they tell me, I have problems. One of them told me yesterday that they have problems, and they set them aside, and after a while it feels almost impossible to even start solving them. The problems of this world, right? The problems that we face. You have problems, I have. Yet these problems are in fact the very thing, again, that keeps us away from our true selves. What happens if you discover your true soul, your spiritual self, invisible self, your formless self. But what happens is that you can take away the blows of life. Let that sink in. If you understand who you really are and what you really are, which is a formless awareness, consciousness, currently expressing itself through a human body. If you can separate the two, if you can separate your consciousness from your body, well, then you're going to understand that everything that happens on this physical plane happens indirectly to your body, sort of. Well, then it doesn't have to hold so much power over your actual consciousness itself. But we're trained to fight. We see an issue, we have to fight the issue. We see something does something that we don't agree with, we have to say something about it. And in certain situations that is very accurate. You can't just walk away depending on the situation. But again, it's such a subtle thing to get into the habit of doing it all the time with everything, even little things, that again, you lose your peace of mind. The peace of mind, my friends, my brothers and sisters, the peace of mind is where you will find the spirit of the universe. And that can reveal all sorts of wonderful things about who you really are. It can take away all your pains. It can take away all your sorrow. It can take away all that anxiety and frustration you might feel concerning any situation you're facing in your physical life. Isn't that what you really want? So, a few days ago, I woke up in another realm. What I mean by that is, I go to sleep, you go to sleep every night, and we're not aware that we're somewhere else. Your consciousness is somewhere else. Just every day try to grasp that whatever you dream, whether it be a wonderful dream or a nightmare, it doesn't matter. It's your consciousness revealing other realms to yourself. Or actually, you're revealing it to yourself, because you are your consciousness. You know, it's not like you have one that is like looking at you. It's like you are the experience. You are the experiencer of so-called reality. I once phrased a coin: wherever you are in mind, that to you will be the only reality. And it's the same when you're dreaming. To you, at that moment in time, if you could look back at your dreams, at that moment in time, you thought it was reality. You might not have said it out loud, but you took it for granted. So in a way, subconsciously, you just assumed it was reality, no matter how absurd the dream was. Now for me in the dream world, what happened again was the realization that there is a realm of infinite compassion and infinite love. And it's essentially the spirit of the universe. It's what they call God, you could say. Because from that angle, when I touched it, I was actually grabbed by a being, surrounded by beings, you could say, of pure love. And what they made me feel was the inability to judge. For a little while, I could think of my life and the world and anybody in it, and the only thing I could feel was pure love. No judgment, nothing, literally nothing bad. Now that I'm here in the physical dimension of time and space again, it's very rare to find a human that is capable of doing something like that. Again, because there's a lot of conflict here. There's stuff that will happen where even I personally would, I would understand that. Just being like, oh, no matter what they did, I will love them. I will forgive them instantly. It can be very hard depending on the crazy stuff that might happen. Here again is the point. Whatever happens to you in your world, you can escape it. You can escape it by closing your eyes and becoming aware of your true self. What is the true self? Ask yourself, do you know yourself? These were one ancient words, know thyself. Do you know yourself? I'm still in the process of figuring it out. Maybe you haven't even started yet, because most people, if you ask this, will simply tell you their name or their age or whatever. They tell you all sorts of stuff based on this time-space reality and nothing beyond it. Yet it's what's beyond this reality itself that can help you see your true nature, your true self. Because you're not going to be occupying this body specifically in the way it is forever. There's going to come a time And you already know this. There's going to come a time that the body starts to break down. You have seen it with family members, friends, maybe. You know, they pass away. Where did they go? You think they're gone forever, that they just stopped existing? No, I have good news for you, but it's hard to grasp maybe at first. But when you go to sleep at night, when you enter that dream world, it's exactly the same as when you die. When this body physically dies, you step into another realm. But you take it for granted and you have no realization that you just died in this realm. Isn't that weird? Because it's similar, I know it sounds weird at first perhaps, but it's similar to the idea that when you go to sleep at night, you're in another realm, but you didn't realize that you fell asleep with a physical body. Isn't that so? It's not that hard to grasp that it's the same when you die. Now this is good news for you, because once you start grasping it or even become curious about this, well, that's when you can start to find your true self. The true self that we're all searching for. This life experience is meant to awaken us. It's going to go on and on and on and on and on. A cycle of recurrence is taking place with your soul, with your inner being. It's going to keep going on until you start to break the spell, so to speak. Now, what spell am I talking about? The spell of being so fascinated and obsessed with the physical world that you observe. Or I should probably phrase it differently. The spell that you're so obsessed with the things you can observe outside of yourself, or seemingly outside of yourself. Because in the dream world, again, you're seemingly seeing things outside of yourself, but if you were to wake up in the dream world and control the whole thing from within, you realize they're all a part of yourself, because you can control every aspect of it at will. As long as we're fascinated with things of this world, we're gonna stay stuck in a cycle of recurrence. Now this might sound shocking even to me. The realization, as this revelation is dawning upon me, is both beautiful and disturbing at the same time. It's disturbing to realize that, you know, in reality we're chasing shadows. We want more money, we want a better career, better relationship, we want this, that, or the other. All sorts of stuff from this dimension that we can't even take to the grave. We can resurrect them if we're become awake within consciousness, no matter where you go, even if it's outside your body. You can resurrect whatever you want. You only have to be aware of what it is that you want to resurrect for yourself. But we're so obsessed with accumulating stuff here in this realm that again, the mind is being pulled away from the true self. The true self is infinite. It's immortal. It has no beginning nor end. The true self can actually set you free. The true self can take away all your sorrows and unhappiness. It can actually restore everything that you have lost. How do you do it? Well, this is what I'm hinting at. When you close your eyes at night, one day hopefully you'll have the experience that you're dreaming, that you're aware that you're dreaming. Because once that starts to happen, even just one time in your life, you start to discover that it's true what I'm saying, that you exist in multiple dimensions at once, and that your consciousness exists independent of your body. No matter how hard it is to grasp, because right now, I agree, you could as well see this body as a sort of prison, a prison for your mind, and then the world is a bigger prison, keeping your mind stuck in time, space, reality. But you can go beyond it, and that is where you will find your true self. We shouldn't be afraid to investigate. We shouldn't allow this world to scare us. Yes, sometimes, again, depending on the situation, it might first scare you, it might freak you out what's happening out there, what happens all over the world. If it's confronting you up close, at first it might freak you out. I mean, that's a natural response. But never forget that you're an immortal being, and that you exist independent of your physical body itself. And it's that fear, it's that attachment that we have to this body as well, and to this world, that causes us to miss the whole perception of who we really are, of our true selves again. Because the true self is free. You are in essence free. But you can't experience the freedom if you are unaware of the freedom, right? How can you enjoy freedom if you don't understand that you're free? And it's through this sort of limited life experience that we can rediscover our freedom, and then we start to evolve mentally, spiritually, towards higher and higher realms of being. And those higher realms of being is where you will find your bliss. It's where you will find peace. It's where you will find the solution to all the suffering that life has caused you to feel so far. But you don't have to suffer forever. Trust me on this. You don't. It's going to be okay, brothers and sisters. Just trust my words and trust in the teachings. You are immortal. The world is trying to pull you away from your true self. It's time to find it. It's time to remember again. So that's all you really have to understand about this whole situation that we're facing, called life experience, this earthly life, is that we're being pulled away from our true self simply by the fact of our attention, about what we're fascinated by what we're focused upon. And if we start turning that focus inwardly towards the realms of imagination, of our own thoughts, of our own feelings, if we might one day wake up in the dream world. This is the goal, to just have the experience at least once. But do not despair if it doesn't happen instantly, or if it takes so long, or if it never happens to you physically right now. Do not despair, because you won't be lost forever anyway. But it is your destiny to discover that inner beingness, that true self, that immortal self of yours, that lies beyond time and space. Because once you touch it, once you even experience it, and have the experience and touch that realm, well, that's when you know that you no longer have to truly let this world control your mind, even though it does at times, but you'll always be able to get back to the true awareness, your infinite awareness, being a spirit of the universe, being part of the spirit of the universe in human form. Anyways, with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.